Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, probably good morning, depending on where you're joining from. I'm glad to have you with us tonight again in another episode or another session of Thriving Thursday. It's good to have you. Please, if you're joining, give us a wave, give me a wave. Just send a message somewhere, let me know that you're there. It would be good to know. So a wave, thumbs up, anything to just acknowledge that you are there will be fine. Anyone there just at any time, or maybe if you're watching this episode after now, please just leave a comment, say something, share something, so that we would know, we will recognize and acknowledge that you joined us, right? So good to have you again this Thriving Thursday. Good to have you for everyone that will join live and everyone that will get a chance to look at this or to watch this some other time later on. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tope Ogunfayo. I'm one of the faculty members here, and you will most likely see me more often these days. Probably once a month, once in 2 months, or something like that. I'll be coming live to share with you some thriving tips, as we usually do every Thursday. So I'm super excited to host you this Thursday. I recognize that my wife has been doing a lot of work here, also challenging you and sharing some awesome and wonderful tips, I must confess. Most of them I use them myself. I get blessed each time I hear her share those tips. And today I hope to take it up from there, share 1 or 2 tips with you that I am persuaded of one thing. If you use 1, 2, 3 perhaps of them, you would move from one level to another. You would thrive, you would do well, because in this life, we don't just want to do anyhow, just to do fairly well, right? We want to do very well. We want to be successful, right? And most importantly, we want to thrive. We want to do that consistently. We want to do that deliberately, and we want to do that over a period of time. And I'm convinced beyond reasonable and unreasonable doubt this evening, as you join, either you're joining live or you will watch this video later, that the tips we're going to share tonight will be a blessing to you and would help you approach life better. Okay? So again, if anyone is just joining, give us a wave, say hello, do something so that we know that you are there. All right. So again, I want to share with you a couple of tips. We've called them Thriving Edge. Thriving Edge, I want to share with you a couple of tips as time permits us. I have about 5 of them in my mind, but to be honest, I would just go as I get into the flow. So if I'm able to finish the 5, that's fine. And if I'm not able to finish them, we'll pick it up some other day or some other time or some other event when we come online. Okay, so thriving edge. That's what we want to discuss today. I remember a story. Some time ago, I was supposed to take a trip to South Africa. I was supposed to speak at an international conference. I've spoken in this conference a couple of times over the year, and I became recognized as one of the speakers that they wanted to have every year, and I felt so blessed about that. So almost 3-4 years back to back, I kept speaking for them in this conference. So this year I got an invitation to speak for them. I prepared everything good enough. I had a South African visa at that time, so I didn't need to apply for any. So I checked my passport, everything seemed fine. They had booked the flight, so everything seemed fine. And on the day that I was supposed to travel, as usual, my wife helped packing stuff. I packed my stuff, I said my goodbyes to my lovely wife, and then I took a taxi to the airport. Everything seemed fine, right? I had a destination in mind, and I was determined to get to that destination. Nothing was going to stop me. I had prepared well, I had done all that I knew how to do, and here I was at the airport. So I got to the airport, and then these guys started checking my passport, and I felt, come on, it's not the first time I'm traveling. I travel very frequently. What are you checking? And then he looked at me and said, "Sir, you cannot travel." I said, "What do you mean? How do you mean I cannot travel? There is a visa on my passport, it's valid. I have my ticket, it's been booked. What do you mean that I cannot travel?" Then he pointed my attention to one fact that apparently I didn't know before that time, and I even argued with him. So he said, "Sir, you have only two blank pages on your passport, and they are not adjacent to each other. So they are in different places. And by the law, you need to travel with two blank spaces on your passport adjacent to each other. And this is the law also in South Africa. So even if I allow you to travel, I can bet you that you are going to face problems with South Africa immigration." I said, "No, that cannot be true. I'm not aware of that. What do you mean? This is not my first time of traveling." And, as calmly as the guy could, he explained to me several times over that, "Sir, you're going to be in trouble. You need to have two blank spaces adjacent to each other. That's the only way you will be allowed to get into South Africa." You know, and then he said, "Look, if you want to talk to my supervisor, please be my guest." He brought out the rule book, showed me in the guidebook how that, this is the rule, and well, he can allow me to go at my own risk, or I can go and get another passport so that I can make my trip. Of course, your guess is as good as mine. I followed the voice of reasoning. I delayed my flight by one day and used one day to get a new passport so that I could travel. I arrived in South Africa the very morning of the conference. So I went from the airport to go and speak, because before then I was supposed to arrive one day earlier, freshen up, get my energy back. So I went directly. The conference still went very well, but then I learned a lesson. And the lesson is very clear. And the lesson is what I want to start with today. The lesson is this: the fact that you are determined about where you are going does not mean you will get there. That's interesting, right? And I know determination is very important. I know determination is it's a very key ingredient of success. I know if you're determined, somebody could have said, "Okay, you should have gone there. You should see what will happen." Well, maybe you have a point, maybe not. But you need to have determination within the context of certain guidebook, within the context of certain rules, within the context of certain guidelines. That's what gives authority to your determination. And I see a lot of people today, they are determined to make it, they are determined to succeed, they are determined to do well, but they are not following the guidebook. They are not following the rules. There are certain things that they are not following. When you run a 100 meters dash, the rule of that is different from when you're running in a marathon. And you need to know which one you're competing in. If you compete in a 100 meters dash, there is only one rule: speed. Okay? How fast can you get up? How fast can you maintain your pace? How fast can you finish? Within 10 seconds, it's all over. Yeah, but maybe 30 minutes before that time and the 5 minutes after is very critical. That's the rule, but you only focus on speed. Once you're fast, you go, right? The same rule does not apply in a marathon race, right? Because in a marathon, more than speed, what you need is strength and stamina. Strength and stamina. That's what you need. So if you get up fast and you start running and you are ahead of everyone, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't reveal anything. It's a matter of time. You are not just in the race for 10 seconds. You are not in the race for 20. You are not in the race for 1 minute. You are in the race for several hours. As a minimum, you're talking about a 2-hour race. So speed is not of the important essence here. What is very critical, what is very important is what? Is strength and stamina. It is strength and stamina. That's the rule of the game. And I hope you follow the rules. And this is what I'm saying. So because life is not a 100 meters dash, life is not a 100 meters dash. The things you want to accomplish is not most times a 100 meters dash. You're in a marathon, right? You're in a marathon. So in this race, you need strength and you need stamina. You need to follow the rule. You need to follow the guidebook. I remember the story that one of my pastors also shared with us. He was going to take part, or he took part in a marathon, and he had practiced several weeks before that time. And on this particular day, as soon as they say go, he started running fast. His strategy was that he would be ahead of everyone first. He will run so fast, be ahead of them, and then find a way to maintain his pace. Ladies and gentlemen, by the time he ran so fast in the first couple of minutes, he ran out of steam. He ran completely out of steam, and the only thing he was thinking about is, let me live where the crowd is and find a way to escape from this race. And that's what most folks will do, right? Because they are not following the guidebook. They are not following the rules of the game. The rule of the game says you look at strength and you look at stamina. Speed, not that important in a marathon. So today, let me give you some thriving edges, some thriving tips that if you want to follow the rule, if you want to follow the guidebook with your determination, would help you to thrive, will help you to live an overflowing life, to live a life that you're not struggling a lot. You're maintaining pace, strength and stamina. You're maintaining space. It's for a long time. You're maintaining pace. You're following the rule, following the guidebook. Okay? And so let me share with you those tips. The first edge that I want to share with you today is what I call the winning edge. The winning edge. And the winning edge is nothing other than your attitude. Your attitude. Listen to me honestly, those who are listening to me live and those who will watch this recording after, your attitude is a very important thing to mix with your determination. Very crucial, very critical. Most people don't know it. I've seen some people and their attitude. That this guy needs to do something, this lady needs to do something in order to move on. Because everything around them, they respond to or they react to negatively. And I told my kids a couple of weeks ago, and I always remind them. I said, it is important to have aptitude. Aptitude is how good you are, okay? But it is much more important to have a great attitude. Your attitude, more than your aptitude, determines your altitude. Your attitude, more than your aptitude, determines your altitude, which means how far you go in life, in whatever you're doing today, in that business that you're doing, that endeavor that you put your hands to do, whatever it is that you are doing today, your attitude is crucial. Yeah, it's important to build your attitude, and we will talk about it later, but your attitude is very critical. Yeah, listen to me, folks. It is not what happens to you that matters. It is not what happens to you that matters. What has happened to you has happened to several other people. What is important is what happened in you as a result of what happened to you. I repeat that. What is important is what happened in you as a result of what happened to you. What has happened in you? Did something die in you, or was something birthed in you as a result of what happened to you? There are some people, they lost their dad or their mom very early in life. Two different people can react to that same circumstance in two different ways. That event is a neutral event. How they respond to it, how they react to it, is what determines how far they go in this journey that we're talking about. Someone will wake up and say, okay, fine, I don't have parental support, but guess what? A man's got to do what a man's got to do. I'm going to get it anyways. Some other people will say, oh, life is so tough. I'm at my wit's end. I can't do anything again. That's it. I'm going to call it quits. Right? Your attitude in such a situation is very important. Is very important. You know, a wise man once said this. He said, all things being equal, attitude wins. All things not being equal, attitude still sometimes wins. Well, can't you think about that? All things being equal, your attitude wins. Even when all things are not equal, most times your attitude still wins. Your attitude still wins. It's critical to take care of your attitude. Your attitude is simply how you respond to things, how you react to events, how you take on things. Do you throw in the towel and say, look, that's the end of it? You know, I once read the story of Edmund Hillary. I don't know if you have heard of Edmund Hillary. Edmund Hillary was the first guy who climbed Mountain Everest. And if you read the story and you read the ending alone, you think, wow, such a great guy. He was the first guy, first man, actually two of them with his colleague that first climbed Mountain Everest. But guess what? Edmund Hillary had tried several times, I think 3 to 4 attempts before that, and he couldn't make Mount Everest. One of such encounters with Mount Everest was documented. Do you know what Edmund Hillary said once? Looked at Mount Everest and he said, this time around, you conquered me. But guess what? You are a mountain, you are a non-living thing. You don't grow, but I'm human. I grow. I will continue to grow, and one day I will defeat you. I will conquer you. Did he conquer or not? Did he conquer or not? That's a man with a strong attitude. That's a man with a strong attitude. I read the story of a young man called Glenn Cunningham. Glenn Cunningham was born, and at age 7, he suffered a very big incident in his life. In fact, his school was gutted down by fire that he started with his brother, and his brother died. He lost his brother, and he himself was completely burned. He was so burned that doctors predicted that he will never be able to walk again. That's what they told Glenn. But Glenn didn't believe them. A man with the right attitude will not believe such. Glenn told himself, I am not only going to walk, I am going to run. And right from a tender age, with the support of his parents and friends, he started to try stuff. He would try, he would fall, he would try, he would fall, but his attitude would not let him go. That's the winning edge. That's the winning edge I'm talking about. Yes, you have determination, but is your attitude supporting that determination? Is your attitude supporting it? That's the winning edge. Okay? And then Glenn not only started walking, he started to run. Ladies and gentlemen, believe you me, Glenn Cunningham ran in the Olympics. He ran in the 1932 Olympics and won a silver medal for his country. Somebody that doctors have said will never walk again. Why? His attitude. His attitude was very strong. What attitude do you have? What attitude do you have? A wise man said that what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are nothing compared to the things that lie within us. It's within. It's within you. It's your attitude. I know that you have been faced with challenges. I know that in your daily life, things will come that you are battling with. But my question to you today is, how have you been responding to them? How have you been responding to them? You know, I read another story, very interesting story. 2 businessmen were sent to a city, a village, a place that, you know, business was not happening. They were supposed to go and sell to go and sell shoes in this place. And then the 2 of them sent back a telegram to their head office. They saw the same thing, but they had different attitude. One of them was, they don't wear shoes here. There is no business here. We cannot do any business here because the people here don't wear shoes. That's what he said, because they didn't wear shoes. So he said, guys, don't waste my time. Bring me back to the head office. People here don't wear shoes. We will never be able to sell shoes here. Guess what? The other person wrote almost exactly the same sentence, wrote it back to the head office. He said, they don't wear shoes here. Great business here. It means I can sell shoes to everybody who lived in this village. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Attitude. What is your attitude? What is the state of your heart? What do you do when things are not moving fine? Do you know the way some of us behave is as if we're carrying the weight of the whole world upon our shoulders? Come on. Come on, man. People have gone through worse things. People have gone through tougher things. You need to dust up yourself, carry your stuff, and say, look, I'm going to give it another try. I'm going to do it again. A wise man said, when life knocks you down, make sure you land on your back. If you can look up, you can get up. If you can look up, you can get up. When life knocks you down, make sure you land on your back. If you can look up, you can get up. So when you get down, when life knocks you down, don't face down. Don't stay down. Look up, and then you can get up. So again, attitude. That's your winning edge. Time is running fast. Let me go to the second one. The second thriving edge that I want to leave you with today is skill. Skill. I call this the cutting edge. Skill, the cutting edge. And you know, I can do a whole 1 hour teaching on this one. Skill, the cutting edge. The problem with most people is that they want to get to levels that they are determined to get to, they dream of getting to, but they have not invested in the skills necessary to get there. You cannot become Usain Bolt overnight. There is a skill required, and there is a discipline required to get that skill. So all the thrivers joining me today live and those that will watch after, my question is, you want to be a millionaire, right? Do you have skills that is directly proportional to being a millionaire? What skills do you have? What special skills, what special abilities? What can you put on the table to say, look, with this skill, I can compete with the people who are making millions? That's the cutting edge. That's the cutting edge. You know, several years back, I remember I was solving a math problem. Was it a math problem or a physics problem? I cannot remember. You know, those of you who schooled back in Nigeria in those days, the textbook we use, the answers are always at the back, towards the back, right? So you can actually solve a problem and then go and check the answers if you were correct, right? You can relate with what I'm talking about. So I felt that in this area, you know, I've studied well, I was right, and then I solved this problem several ways, and then I got the same answer, but the answer that I got was different from the answer at the back. So I told myself, the author of this book must be wrong. It must be wrong. Their answer is wrong. Until I called one of my friends. I said, look, I've solved this like 4 or 5 different ways. I'm still getting the same answer. This guy, I need to write him that his answer is wrong. And then the guy solved it and got the same answer that the author got. You know, then I became humble. Then it appeared to me, it occurred to me that the problem was not with the man. The problem was with me, was with my skill. At that time, I couldn't solve I couldn't solve it. Okay, and that's important, because several times we're blaming people, blaming circumstances, blaming others except ourselves, except looking inward and saying, what are the special skills that I need to have to be able to attain the level that I dream of attaining? It's crucial. It's a crucial question that you need to ask yourself. That's what gives you the cutting edge when you have the right skills. You know, in some of my teachings, I give people this analogy. I ask them to write figure one, write figure one and put maybe 3 zeros in front of it. Okay, and you can do that as well with me tonight if you want to. Write figure one and put 3 zeros in front of it. Okay. Now, after doing that, come back to the 1 and 3 zeros that you have written and put a dot just before the last zero. Okay, does that change things? You bet it does. The figure now changes. Yes, there are still 3 zeros, but the positioning of the dot changes the number, right? If you move that dot to the position of 2 zeros, it changes that number, right? Depending on the positioning of the dot, despite the fact that on the paper you still have figure 1 and 3 zeros, the positioning of the dot changes the number. The number can be 1,000, can be 100, can be 10, or can be 1. It can even be 0.1, depending on where your dot is. May I suggest to you that God has given all of us rich resources. Inside of you, you have rich resources, but Your skill determines the position of the dot. So how skillful you are, and the God will not do that for you. You will do that for yourself. How skillful you are determines the position that the dot will stay in the areas where you are trying to thrive. So may I challenge you this evening? What special skill do you have that is going to be paid for? Oh, I want to earn millions. I remember once somebody came to our church once and he said, okay, it was a long time ago. He said, we're all going to become millionaires. Just bring a sheet of paper and a pen and write how many millions you want to earn, and you will earn it. And I stopped and I said, this is folly. This is so foolish. This is so foolish. This is not going to happen because things will not drop on people like ripe pawpaw. Question is, do you have the skill? Do you have the cutting edge that is necessary to position yourself to thrive? To position yourself to thrive. Listen to me. While rehearsals may be commended, only performance is rewarded. While rehearsals may be commended, only performance is rewarded. So you can go to rehearsals and people say, wow, that's lovely. That's lovely. If you don't perform on the D-Day, nothing is going to happen. What special skills do you have? What special abilities do you have? That's your cutting edge. That's your cutting edge. That's your cutting edge. Listen, we live in a world that is changing drastically. I don't know if you are aware, but we were told that several years ago, thousands of years ago, knowledge used to double every century, every 100 years. So knowledge will double. Okay? Guess what? Do you know that today, in today's world, knowledge is doubling almost every 18 months? Knowledge is doubling. What do you know? What special skills? Or are you still referring to the skill that you acquired 5 years ago, the skill of yesteryears? Listen to me. If you try to do business today with yesterday's skills, you will not be in business tomorrow. Using yesterday's ideas, yesterday's skills to run business today, it will guarantee that you are no longer in business tomorrow. Especially with the pandemic, with the COVID situation that we face, my question to you, dear Thriver, dear Cedar group member that wants to thrive, my question to you is, what special skill, what special ability do you have that you are going to bring to the table? This is your cutting edge. So we talked about attitude. We said attitude is your winning edge. Now we talked about skill. We said that skill is your cutting edge. Let me talk about one more for today and I will wrap up. Maybe some other time we can talk about the fourth and the fifth. So I'll talk about the third one today and then we'll wrap it up. The third edge that I want to talk about today is hard work. It's closely related to skill, but it's a bit different. It's hard work because some people are skillful, but they are lazy. They are lazy. It's hard work. And this one, I call it the breakthrough edge. So you have the winning edge, you have the cutting edge. This one, I call it the breakthrough edge. There is some misconception about work that I want to debunk tonight. There is a misconception that, work is as a result of sin. It's as a result of the fall of man. It was because man fell that God punished him with work. So everybody working now is God's punishment. Nothing can be further from the truth. Before sin, there was work. Actually, when God created Adam and Eve, God gave Adam work. So work is not a curse. In fact, work is a blessing. It's not a curse. So leave that realm of work is a curse. No, good work is not a curse. It's a blessing. Okay? And I have found that and I've come to the conclusion that the only substitute in the school of success to hard work is a hard life. Either you work hard or you live a hard life. There is no other solution to it. I told people jokingly, I said, the only place where work comes before success is in the dictionary. And that's because W comes before S. That's the only way, that's the only place where work comes before success. Apart from the dictionary, in real life, hard work precedes success. I've heard people say, oh, he's lucky. It's because he's just lucky. Maybe you're right, but may I suggest to you that it is when hard work joins opportunity or meets opportunity that success comes, that luck comes. And then people say, oh, he's lucky. It's not. If you look at it very well, there is a breakthrough edge. It's called hard work. It's called hard work. Hard work. You know what I found out? Golden opportunities are nothing to laziness. When you see a lazy man, golden opportunities are nothing to him. And I've seen people like that before. You give them opportunities, they will complain, they will tell you why it will not be so. They will give you they will do a research on the 10 reasons why that will not happen. They will tell you all that. All right? But here, golden opportunities are nothing to laziness, but hard work makes the commonest chance golden. Hard work makes the commonest chance golden. When you jam hard work, it makes the most common of chances to become golden. It's very important. So I said the dictionary is the only place in the world where success comes before work. Where success comes before work. The dictionary is the only place. In all other places, work comes before success, not the reverse. Work comes before success. It's important for you to know. So how hardworking are you? Have you burned the midnight candle? Have you put in your best? Have you put in your best effort? Even if I ask you the stuff you are doing today, can you convince yourself that you've given it your best? Where you say, look, I have given it my best shot. I've given it my best shot. That's what gives you the breakthrough edge. Listen to me. The dignity of labor is the greatest of all dignity. The dignity of labor is the greatest of all dignity. When you see a hardworking man is on his way somewhere, especially when he's combining it with the other edges that we have talked about. So my question to you is, how hardworking are you? How hardworking are you? Some of us read the stories of these successful people, but we only read the end. We have not invested in reading about the process, all the hard work that they put into it. How many hours of work that they put into it? Not just physical work. I'm not just talking about physical work. I'm talking about brain power. I'm talking about brain work. That's why they call it their brain child. I'm talking about brain work as well. Because when I talk about hard work, some people say, I cannot work hard. God will not let me work hard. I'm not talking about just carrying the digger and digging. That's not what I'm talking about tonight. I'm talking about work, mental work, sometimes physical work too, but mental capacity to work, to give it what it takes, to give it what it takes, to give it what it takes, and to stay the course until you get there. So you see what I'm saying? Determination alone does not get you to your destination. I was determined to get to South Africa. I didn't get there on time. From the story that I shared with you earlier. It takes the right attitude. It takes skill. It takes hard work. And hopefully, God willing, in the next couple of weeks, when I come back online, I will be sharing with you the other two edges that are on my list tonight to share with you. I believe that when you utilize all this in your life, you will thrive like cedar. You will thrive, not only succeed, but thrive and do it over a period of time. If you've learned something tonight and you want to take it a bit further, you want to engage us a bit further, please feel free. You can go to folafayo.com, register there, drop us a message there, and we will connect with you. Please feel free. We're very eager to help you take it to the next level. We're very eager to see you thrive. So please, if you have questions, things that you would like us to help you with, please, right now, please go to folafayo.com. You will see a form there where you can register and where you can connect with us. And we will get in touch with you as soon as we can. Okay? I'm going to stop here for tonight. We will see you next Thursday in another episode of Thriving Thursday, and it promises to even be better than this one. So have a good night rest and talk to you sometime soon. Bye-bye from me.